Hello YouTube and welcome to today's video. In today's video I'm gonna be explaining how I am personally reviewing one of my own games and how you can also review your own games in order to improve overall as a player. So the first thing that I'm gonna be looking at is the time frame from the game. So we're looking for the first 15 minutes of the game, and the reason why is because this is where every decision being made is basically on your own. Meaning if you decide to go for a gank, then it is or it should be your decision to do so. And if you end up dying, then it is your decision that made you die or your mechanical misplay that led to you dying and not your teammates. So first we just quickly set up the lanes here. Okay, so the first thing that I'm taking a look at, basically I do this already in champion select and loading screen, but basically what I'm doing is I'm taking a look at each of the matchups. So we start from top lane. So in top lane I have Tryndamere and they have Jace. So because I don't have any good CC for a possible gank on top lane is not really the best lane for me to gank unless if Jace is pushing. So the reason why Jace most likely will end up pushing is because enemy top laner is ranged and my top laner is melee, meaning that Jace most likely will actually end up pushing if he plays it correctly with his range. Then I take a look at mid lane where I have Galio versus Kayle, where it's same situation. Enemy Kayle has more range, but Galio actually also has Q and passive to push in the wave back, so it can be even, but it might be slowly pushing towards Galio. On the other hand, in mid lane I have really good CC from Galio with his E and W, meaning that if Kayle overstays, I can actually look for a gank onto mid lane. So mid lane, pretty easy for me to gank if Galio can just set me up with the CC. Then I take a look at bot lane, where I have Arctis Fresh and they have Twitch and Leona. So on bot lane I have also really good setup because I have a Fresh who can hook, flay and lantern, and the enemy bot lane is immobile with Twitch and Leona. But Leona is a tank, so we're mostly gonna focus on the Twitch. So basically what is gonna happen is the wave is actually slowly gonna push towards the enemy because Arctis and Fresh are both ranged and Fresh counters Leona with flay. So basically when Leona presses E, then Fresh can flay it. And then Arctis also has better wave clear than the Twitch has. So basically how I've analyzed the game means that Jace most likely will push in the Tryndamere. Kayle might push Galio or it will be even, but I have good setup in mid lane for ganks, so I can look for mid gank. And on bot lane I also have good setup for ganks with CC from my Fresh. So with this in mind, I know that I want to be pathing from top side down to bot side and look for a gank on either mid lane or on bot lane as my first gank. So this is on paper how you want to analyze it. Then what you can do on top of that is you can also analyze how does the jungle go. And in jungle, I basically beat Gragas until Gragas gets a decent amount of AP, and then Gragas can basically one-shot me. But in the early game, I win against him. Clear-wise, he is slightly faster than me because Gadget is really slow at clearing. So this basically means that I could go for an invade if I wanted to. I don't really beat him in a full clear. So if I want to be looking for something, I should be looking for an invade. On top of that, what you now want to do is now you want to look at Gragas' point of view. So who would Gragas like to play for? So he could play for top lane, but the issue with top lane is Jace most likely will push Tryndamere, meaning that the only way he can really gank is to potentially dive top lane, which is a bit risky. Then he can look at mid lane, but Galio is a bit tanky, especially with the aftershock, so probably also do not want to push or play around that. And then we have bot lane, where it's a Arctis and a Fresh. Gragas most likely will end up ganking bot lane because Arctis is immobile and we have he has Leona who can also set up a good gank with CC, even though he has CC himself. So analyze your laners, analyze what your champion does. So I'm playing Kha'Zix in this situation, meaning I need some type of CC from my laner in order to kill someone. But Gragas doesn't actually need CC because he has that himself. He actually just needs someone who does a lot of damage. And then an enemy preferably that is overextended. So, with this in mind, both junglers should be pathing from top to bot. So, now we go into the game and we start with the regular trinket. Gragas does the same thing. And then what we see is that Gragas actually starts on bot side, meaning he is actually pathing from bot towards top. So he's playing around Tryndamere. And that's not what I personally would have done as Gragas, and it's not what I thought that he would do. But again, you just want to have it on paper. You just want to plan out what you think is going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then you need to adapt. But you need to come into the game with a plan. So you have your plan A. Plan A was what we planned on doing, right? Like playing for bot side. And with free kill. If then plan A fails, we need to go to plan B. And we just make plan B on the spot because we cannot predict that plan A fails. So if plan A fails, we go to plan B and we make it on the spot. If plan A works, we stick to the plan and do exactly as we wanted. So then the game starts. It's a bit loud here, so we'll turn it down. We get not the best leads in the entire world, but it is what it is. And then we start clearing. And then as soon as I hit level 3, which is right here. So now I'm level 3, meaning I'll have access to my E, which I have now. So I have my E now, meaning technically I can go for a gank now. So I'm on top side of the map. So I have 3 things that I can do. Number 1, I can go top for a gank. The second is I can go mid for a gank. And the third option is I can go to my raptors for a full clear. So if we zoom out here and take a look. Can I gank top lane? I can't gank it because the wave is all the way up here, but I can dive the enemy Jace. And why do I want to dive the enemy Jace? Well, according to what I planned inside of my head, Gragas would be pathing from top to bot. But that's not what he ends up doing, but that's fine because we can actually see what is happening by looking at who leashes. So we take a look here, we zoom all the way out, and
as evil grows, so shall I.
Then we will see just a second. So we see Jace up here with full HP, full mana. We don't see the enemy bot lane yet. That means that Gragas started on bot side. So we actually know he starts on bot side. Then enemy bot lane comes to lane and we can see that the Leona does not have full mana and does not have full HP. So this means that bot lane leashed. So it's confirmed Gragas is clearing from bot to top. So now let's speed it up. And as soon as I hit level 3, then I take a look. I look at top lane, I see my Tryndamere is pushing and Jace is level 1. So, because he's pushing, I can't go for a regular gank here. But I can go for the dive because the wave is pushing. I can also take a look at mid lane. Mid lane, kinda same situation. I can't gank it, so the only possible play in mid lane is to dive it. But diving is a bit risky here due to the fact that Gragas is definitely closer to mid lane than he is to top lane right now. And then otherwise, the third option would be I go to my raptors. Now, if I couldn't dive top lane, I would have went to my raptors. Because this play seems very hard to do and is a bit risky. This play is also risky but seems very likely to do because both me and Tryndamere has our E. So one of us can just tank, then we can just jump out to either side and then we're fine. So if this gank was not possible, then I would have stuck to the plan of I just power farm towards bot side, so I clear my raptors, I clear my red, I clear my crux, and then I look at my bot lane, how is the wave, if I can gank, I go for the gank, if I can't gank, I take the scuttle, and then I reset. So, I go for this dive right here. So, I tell my Tryndamere we should actually push, but the wave is not pushed in yet. So what can I do in the meantime? So because I knew that Gragas started on bot side due to Leona leashing, I know that, okay, Gragas full clears faster than me, but I can invade him. So this wave is not fully pushed in. This means I can look for something in the meantime while he's pushing this in. So I'm gonna go to Gragas' red buff and I'm gonna check. And then I find a Gragas. So he doesn't know that I'm in this bush just yet because I used the sweeper that we have here. He then uses the sweeper and I make sure that I am not in the sweeper range so he doesn't see me. So I step a little bit to the left here. I then see my Galio coming. This is not something I anticipated. But he does end up coming and he just goes all in on the Gragas. And then I'm like, okay, I'll follow up and we kill him. We take the red buff and then I go straight back into what is happening on top lane. So, top lane, is this wave good to dive on? Not really. But the wave is right here and it's slow pushing towards the enemy. Or towards us, sorry. So the reason why is because the enemy minions has to travel less distance compared to our minions in order to fight on this wave right here. So this means I can stay on top lane and zone Jace off. Or what we can do otherwise is Tryndamere can shove these 3 or these 6 minions and then I'm here to dive it and they can't cover it because their jungler died. And that's basically what ends up happening here. I tell him, okay, let's push. So he pushes the wave in. Here I hold the wave. The reason why I hold the wave is because I don't want the minions to go all the way up here in case our minions are going to be stuck here. I want my minions to be on their tower so they can start tanking so that we can dive. That's why I hold the wave here for a brief second before I start going in. I'm not doing this to clear the wave. That's not the goal. I'm strictly here to hold the wave right here so it doesn't go past me. So now the wave is pushed in and then we start the dive. Tryndamere tanks it, he survives, and then Jace is really far behind. Great, good start. This forces Jace to TP back, and then I recall. So then there's 2 things that I can do here. I can go straight back to top lane because this wave is again right here, meaning it's gonna slow push towards Tryndamere. And with this in mind, I could go straight into top lane and re-gank again if I wanted to. But on the other side, I have my entire bot side still up. So basically I can go for a 300 gold kill on top side, or I can go for 300 gold in terms of jungle camps. So what is best? I mean, this is going to give me 300 gold and some lane experience, but this is going to give me 300 gold and some jungle experience. So overall, this should give me more experience. Therefore, I'm going bot side to power farm bot side jungle here. So I then realize, okay, Gragas counter jungle my raptors, but my red buff is still up. So we know that Gragas is bot side because our raptors are gone. Our red buff is up, so we take that. And because now we're in bot side, we want to be looking at mid and bot lane. So we look at mid lane. The wave is pushed in, so we can't gank. I look bot lane. Okay, people are fighting. I'm really close. I'm moving down. We also then see Galio doing the exact same thing. Because he pushed in, he has nothing to do in mid lane. He also moves down. So, therefore, we go for this gank right here. Arctis ends up dying. Leona ends up dying. And then we're here, but we're a little bit too late. So, what do? Because my Arctis ended up dying and the wave is slowly pushing towards the Twitch, then I need to push this wave in. Because if I don't push this wave in, these minions right here will kill these minions and then slowly push into the tower. Meaning that either I get this wave or nobody gets the wave. And of course then I will gladly take the wave because it's free gold and free experience. So that's what we do here. So again, a little bit my bad that I did not saw that my Raptors were gone, so I should have anticipated, okay, Gragas is bot side. He could possibly gank bot lane, so maybe I should have skipped my red and ganked bot, and I would have made it in time. That is something that I could have done differently, and then it could have been better. So that is something I missed out on doing due to just not focusing. Then here, all I'm doing is I'm not trying to dive to it, I'm trying to zone him off the minions. So I'm trying to make sure that he doesn't get these minions right here, but because Gragas is also here, I can't really do it. But Twitch ends up losing the cannon, and then I'm happy, and then now I want to clear the Crux, because it's the last camp I have. And then I recall, and I take a look. I have 800 gold, so what can I get? Well, I can get 2 longswords for 20 more AD, and then I path towards my top side, because my top side jungle camps are spawning again. And it's better for me to recall and then take my topside camps, because that way I have 20 more AD. And the time that it takes for me to path... Zoom out here. The time it takes for me to path all the way to here, compared to from base up to wolves, is 5-second difference. So this should take about 25 seconds. This is gonna take 20 seconds. So I'll gladly take 5 extra seconds in base to get 20 more AD. There's no reason for me to walk all the way from bot all the way to top. It's better for me to recall and then go from base to top. So that's what we're gonna do. And then we path towards top. So now I'm no longer looking at bot lane. So whatever is happening in bot lane, I'm not looking at anymore, because now I'm pathing towards top. This means I'm looking at top lane and I'm looking at mid lane. So when I take a look at these 2 waves, I realize, okay, there's not really anything for me to do, because Trendemir is slowly pushing his wave in, and Galio is also pushing his wave in. The only thing I can do on the lanes is I can help them push in case that their wave is stuck. So I could help my Galio, because Leona's here, to help Kayle farm, meaning Galio cannot step up to clear the last 6 minions. So I could go mid lane to help him push that wave if I wanted to. But otherwise, there's no gank opportunity, meaning I just want to farm my topside jungle. That's what I do. Take my Crux, or not my Crux, my Grump, and then I take a look at top lane. So I realize my Trendemir is level 6, and he's pushing the wave in, meaning, okay, we can go for this dive right here. So that's what we end up doing. So we kill the Jace, and he doesn't have TP. So that's why we take the plates. This is why we stay. We also then see that Gragas is here in mid lane, meaning that nobody can defend top lane tower. And then we just take 3 platings for free. And we take a wave. And I then, again, now I clear from top towards bot. I then see that they take the dragon. So this is a good play from Gragas, because he knows, okay, I cannot make it to top side, so I'm forced to make something happen on bot side. He can't really gank bot lane, so he's like, okay, at least I can get the dragon. So that's a good play from the Gragas, and this is something we should also anticipate, that if we go top and dive the Jace, then Gragas, if he's a good player, will make something happen on bot side. So if he can't dive, if he can't gank, then he'll try and take the dragon. Or maybe my bot side jungle camps. So he takes the dragon, and we're completely fine with that. We basically knew that by the time we went top, but we don't care about the dragon. I then go towards top to take the Rift Herald, and the reason why I do this is because Rift Herald is a lot stronger than the dragon. So, Rift Herald compared to the dragon. Rift itself gives 100 gold. Drake itself gives 25, so already there, Rift Herald is more worth it. Drake then gives you a small buff. That doesn't really matter, because the only buff from Drake that matters is the 4th dragon. So I can give the first one easily, I can also give the second one easily. I just want to make sure that I either contest the 3rd or the 4th one, because this is where it's gonna become scary if I give too many dragons to the enemy team. Now, on top of the Rift Herald, I also get access to 2 platings, which are worth 320 gold. Meaning that in every single time I get Rift Herald before the 13-minute mark and use it on a lane, I will get 420 gold. Unless if I play against Bard. So this is what I'm getting guaranteed. On top of that, I can get 160 gold for another plating. I can get 400 gold for the first tower. And I can get 250 gold for just a tower, basically a tier 1 tower. And on top of that, if I go for 5 platings, it's another 160 and another 160. But this is very rare that you're gonna get 5 platings, first tower and tower. But you can definitely get 3. So if you put all of this together, then I have, let's see, 580, 980. I have this amount of gold. So this is the potential amount of gold I can get from the Rift Herald, but I'm guaranteed to get this amount. That's why I'm playing for the Rift Herald and top side at 8 minutes. And not for the dragon. I can play for the dragon before 8 minutes if I want to, but it's not really that important because, as I said, these first 2 dragons doesn't matter. You should realize that dragons are kinda treated as a bonus objective. If you have nothing else on the map and it's a free objective to take, then you take the dragon. You don't want to flip a fight for the first dragon or the second dragon. You don't want to flip losing like Rift Herald for it. You don't want to flip losing a lot of plates for it. So if it's a free objective to take, it's good to take because it's nice, but it's not a game-changing objective compared to the Rift Herald. So I'm instantly on Rift Herald. And then some of you guys are thinking, well, there's 2 platings left on this tower right here. Why don't I just take this tower and I get that 320 gold and 400 for the first tower and 250 for a tier 1 tower. That's a lot of gold that I could get. And yes, you guys are correct. I could get this. But the thing is, we're 8 minutes into the game. And if we take a look at our platings, we have 5 platings, 4 platings, and 5 platings left. Meaning that there's no shot that enemy team is going to take first tower anytime soon. So the one tip for the Rift Herald is, if I have a lane who is snowballing in their lane, I should not use the Rift Herald before 13-minute mark. Because if I use it top and we kill this tower, then what is going to happen is Tryndamere is forced to fight Jace in this area right here, which is very dangerous for him because a champion like Gragas could move in like this, they could take the blast cone over, he could come like this. He will need a lot of vision before he feels safe, whereas Jace is gonna feel safe by farming here, and he's close to his tower down here. So we don't want to end the laning phase on top lane right now, because Tryndamere is in a good situation being ahead of the Jace, and possibly he can dive Jace over and over again. So here I actually keep the Rift Herald, and I'm then looking to use it on a different lane. So if I take a look at mid lane, it's not really worth using just yet. I look at bot lane, not really worth using just yet, but that's fine, because I can hold onto the Rift Herald for quite a bit. If my top laner was, for example, losing, or if we only had 1 or 2 platings left of one of these towers, then yes, I would make sure that I get this 400 gold bonus for the first tower compared to giving to the enemy. But there's no threat here in this situation, and that's why I am recalling, not using the Rift Herald instantly. So I recall, and then here I have 2 options. I have my entire jungle camps up. I have 2 camps on top, and I have 2 camps on bot. So I can actually choose, do I want to path from top to bot, or do I want to path from bot to top? And the reason why I path from top to bot is because, as we said with plan A, we have a really good setup on bot lane, and bot lane was the lane we technically wanted to play for, but we haven't really played around them so far. We helped them once, but we were too late for the gank, and that was our bad, because we didn't skip the red buff. So I still want to help my bot lane out. So I then power farm towards my bot side, and again, I look at mid and I look at bot. Can I gank in mid lane? It is very slightly pushing, so I technically could gank mid lane if I wanted to, and I take a look at bot lane, and they are pushing, meaning that I cannot gank them, but we can dive enemy bot lane if we want to. So I then see that there's a bot scuttle spawning, so I want to grab that. Gragas is already here. So now I've cleared my entire jungle, so I don't need to be anywhere specifically on the map. But I know that my next jungle camp spawning is my Grump that will spawn in like 25 seconds. So that gives me a time window of 15 seconds where right now I can just look for anything without really losing anything. Because I have nothing to take anyway right now. So I then realized that I can just zone off enemy bot lane and we can get some platings down in bot lane. I could have held on to this a little bit longer if I wanted to. I didn't have to make this. This was actually technically a bad Rift Herald because we know Gragas was here. So the Rift Herald I probably should have held on to. So that's actually my bad. The fight then breaks out. They TP and Galio ultis. We get 3 platings. And the fight turns out in our favor. Now, this is not something I could have predicted. And technically, it was bad on paper to do, but with our team composition, it ended up working out due to Arctis having his passive up, can just kill them on their tower, and the fact that Galio was in range to press R on us, because they had the TP advantage. So technically, it was bad. It was a bad Rift Herald. I probably shouldn't have used it, but it randomly ended up working out. But in a different game, it probably wouldn't have worked out. So therefore, it's a bad play. Even though in this specific situation, it worked out, generally speaking, it was a bad play. But we then get 5 platings and first tower. And this is where majority of our 5k gold lead comes from. Because 1.5k gold of it comes from just this one tower. Then because Gragas ended up dying, then I know I can take this Grump. If I really wanted to be greedy, I could take the wolves, but that's a bit bad because I know Gragas is gonna come from base with fresh items and I don't have fresh items. I have 2000 gold in the bank, meaning I have 2000 gold spent, or I have 2000 gold that I haven't spent, meaning I could have a serrated dirk and I could have a Warhammer, meaning I could have 50 more AD right now if I just recalled, and that's a lot, because I only have 159. So I could have 25% or 33% more AD, and that's why I'm not going for a greedy play. I just need to recall, because I have way too much gold to make plays. And then I go back to top, because I know that my Grump is the first camp that's about to spawn. But I then skip the red buff, or not the red buff, the Grump, sorry, because I see that Kayle is pushing. So, worst case scenario, I can farm a couple of minions. Maybe I can farm these before Tryndamere gets to lane. Best case scenario is, because Kayle is pushing, I can then go up and gank her, because I'm stronger, and get a free kill. So no matter what, by skipping my Grump, I will get something here. Either it's minions, or it's a kill. Kayle then completely disrespects me by pushing all the way up to the tower, and then I one-shot her, and possibly also get the cannon. Yeah, and I also get the cannon. And now I go to my Grump. If I had started taking the Grump, this top lane play would not have been available, and I would have lost technically a free wave of experience, and I would have lost out on a kill. Therefore, I skipped my Grump, because there's something better for me to do. I then take the Grump, and I now start power farming towards the bot side, because the Drake is about to spawn. And I see the entire enemy team rotating, so I'm like, okay, they are not contesting the dragon, I will take it for free. So we take the dragon for free. And I then start power farming. I then see that there is a play happening here in mid, and this is where I can sit and review. Should I have been in mid lane instead of farming my Crux here? So we see. Should I have been here in mid lane? Galio is pinging, we can invade his blue buff. This is actually also a good play because it denies enemy blue buff. So this is again something I could have done, but I didn't end up doing because in the situation I wasn't looking at it. So this would also have been fine to take away, invade, potentially give it to my Arctis, who knows. Then we also have a mid lane fight happening. So we need to take a look. Should we have been in mid lane here? Well, we see the Gragas coming in, and we see that our bot lane is pushing. And then we see Gragas engaging. An entire enemy team is there. So, should we have been in mid lane here? Not really. This is not our fault that they get caught, and we couldn't have done anything differently if we were here. But we could have taken this blue buff because we knew that they were all in topside jungle. So I could have taken a blue buff that's way more important than taking my Crux. So again, a small misplay. I missed out on an invade here. I then farm my Raptors. I farm my blue buff. And then people are again fighting in mid lane. So is this again my fault? Should I have been in mid lane? Not really. Because the wave is in a good spot here. It's actually slowly pushing, so I could have helped him push, but pushes the wave. And I could have helped my Arctis if I wanted to, but in my opinion it was not important to push that wave right there. So now, again, there's nothing on the map that I can take on my side of the map. I'm ahead, so I'm playing aggressive. I go in with my sweeper, and I'm sitting here waiting for someone to go on red buff. But nobody comes, so I steal it away. And after that, I take another Rift Herald. I take that Rift Herald, and I then start farming again. And then the first 15 minutes have passed, and what did I learn? Well, I learned that my dives on top lane was really good, and I adapted to the situation. I also learned that I probably should have skipped my red buff so I could have been on bot lane a bit faster. I also learned that my Rift Herald on bot side was not good, even though in this specific game the play actually ended up working out. I should probably just have held on to my Rift Herald. I also learned that I should have been taking his blue buff instead of taking my Crux. So already there, I found 3 mistakes, and those 3 things I can then improve on for the next game to make sure I don't repeat those 3 mistakes in case the game is a bit more close, or if I'm not fed right from the start. So that's how you can review your own games. I hope everything made sense. I hope I explained everything good enough. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on the video. If you have any questions regarding like reviewing your own games, then leave it in the comment section down below. If you want to see more, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I would appreciate that a lot. And if you need help reviewing one of your own games, then I am doing coaching myself. I've done more than 400 coaching VODs at this point. And I'm doing 30% off on all my coaching packs throughout January. So if you're seeing this video as soon as it comes out, then you can quickly order a session and then you get 30% off. On top of that, all these coaching packs includes a refund, meaning that if you're not happy with the session that you get, then I'll give you your money back. So you're either guaranteed to improve or at least not wasting any money on bad coaching. So I'll leave a link in the description down below that you can check out if you wanna order a session, and then just follow the instructions down there. DM me on Discord, we will schedule time, and then I'll help you go through one of your games. So yeah. Otherwise, I hope to see you guys in my next YouTube video or on my next live stream on Twitch. And yeah, thank you for watching the video. See you guys.